All right, man. I just jumped in here real fast. I want to go ahead and take this time out to show y'all how to go ahead and get all of your documents and things that you would need filed, like authenticating your birth certificate. And I'm just going to give you a quick breeze through on how to go ahead and get all of it filed, give you a definition and an understanding of how important it is. But the severity of not doing it. You see what I mean? So, like, just so you can get a better understanding of it, because I don't want nobody to think that I'm doing this because I'm looking for something out your pocket. Listen, man, I'm trying to help everybody that struggled with everything that I struggled with growing up, which was the system, the oppression of the system, the laws and the way that they are made, the way they are channeled throughout certain areas and the way they're enforced. So what I'm doing, man, and I don't want to take y'all too far, man. I'm just going to give y'all a real good breeze through and a real good understanding, man, of what I have already comprised myself, put together, called a status correction package. That's going to be the first thing that I introduce to you. Inside of this status correction package that I put together with the help of a few of my friends, I'm going to also show you who's behind it and what's taking place. Because a lot of people are familiar with the Rothschild family and the Rockefeller family and things like this. But, there's systems and infrastructures that are taking place that are a lot larger than the Rockefellers and a lot more powerful than the Rothschild family, a lot more powerful than Queen Elizabeth and all of the rest of them. Like, seriously, you see what I mean? And I mean, this goes all the way back to the Venetian Texan. But I'm finna just get off into it for you so I don't keep y'all too long, man. So if you really want to go ahead and learn how to correct your status with the government, man, with your local government, I don't care where you're from. If you're from Jamaica, Haiti, Philippines, I don't care where you're from. This is literally the only way that you can actually do it. This is the way that the law opened up the door for you to take control of your legal fiction, literally. It's not something that you actually have to take it like a lot of people think that, you got to enter into contracts in order to get out of contracts. No, you don't. You don't enter into a contract to get out of a contract. You get all the way out of all contracts because these contracts are binding agreements. And whether you know it or not, every contract that you enter into, every contract that you sign, it has a strong hold on your imagination. It has a strong hold on what you view as your limited or limitless potential. Seriously, man. And it doesn't have anything to do with claiming tribes or claiming cultures, or it doesn't have anything to do with that, because you don't even have to associate yourself with anybody or anything in actuality just to take control of yourself, just to be able to have sovereign status, sovereign rights. You see what I mean? Now, I got a lot of people that tell me like, man, well, you need to explain to everybody about the hazards of being labeled as a sovereign citizen and the government. And yeah, you're right. Because sovereign citizens don't understand what they're doing. First and foremost, sovereign citizens are still citizens under contractual agreements, claiming sovereignty once they get drug off into them courtrooms, but don't even understand the process of how to execute your full conviction. So yes, you're still a sovereign citizen. That's what you're claiming, sovereign, but you're still a citizen. That's the reason they put the name citizen behind it, because as a citizen, you're still custody of or under the jurisdiction of the 14th Amendment through contractual agreement, point blank, period. There's a difference from being labeled an American national, right? A free person, a free, free people, because even that word person, I'm finna show you how even the word person, human being, like all of these different words, man, they have a real strong resonance when you get to going up into this language and you get to going off into legalese. And this is the language that's ruling over you. Now, I understand, man, listen, I want to learn a lot of other languages too. Tamil, Sanskrit, like all of those languages. But I'm telling you now, you better learn first the language that is ruling over your oppression without you consciously knowing about it. Because it's a language that once you learn it, it can free you. Let me move this, man. I know that's probably in my face. I don't know. Y'all probably like, man, why he got that thing on his face? let me get off into this though, man, so I can just show you how deep it is, man, seriously. But I'm going to show you how to authenticate your documents. Now I'm going to share my screen for a minute. So the first thing I want to show y'all is, man, and I'm hoping y'all can see this. Let me blow this up. Because see, it ain't gonna blow up too much. Let me see. Well, I know everybody know who these folks are. I'm just trying to get my screen working, man. You know, they get to working crazy when you're trying to do your thing. Bear with me, bear with me. All right, let me, because I got a couple of pictures I want to go through because I know a lot of people know who this is right here, right? John D. Rockefeller. A lot of people know who that is. A lot of people know who David Rockefeller is. A lot of people know who the Queen is. All right. Let me take you back, though. I got to show you something. How many people know who these people are? Now, this is called the Black Pope and the Gray Pope. Now, there's three popes: White Pope, Black Pope, Gray Pope. The White Pope is the front man. The Black Pope, or, you know, the Black Pope, he just constructs all of the, you know, mischievous dialects and plans. But the Gray Pope rules it all, right? But that's even on, hey, that's just one scale, one class of it all, one class. Because I'm going to show y'all some other things. I just wanted to show y'all these images, man, so y'all can get a real good understanding of, you know, who we are familiar with. And those people that we are familiar with, it don't necessarily mean that, you know, they running the show. So just give me 1 second. I'm going back into this document and now I'm going to take y'all into here. All right. So I'm hoping you can see this. Now, first thing I want you to recognize is where it says accessing your rights. Prepared and organized by Antoine Shaw, overview and purpose. It is important to understand what sovereignty means, as it is not only essential, but also crucial to our existence. Sovereignty means supreme power or authority of a state to govern itself, to have the means to sustain oneself and others without the need of any external forces or surrogate system to govern us is critical. Examples of such external forces are the legal system, the church, the educational system, as well as the legal registry through vital records, birth certificates. These are third-party contract agreements that have been falsely placed in our reality for the sole purpose to keep us entangled in the illusion that we are free, yet uses something like the Constitution, a Bill of Rights, to demonstrate just how truly limited and powerless we are in many aspects by hiding the truth from us through the contracts, which is our birthright. These contracts are what put us in the 14th Amendment, which 14th Amendment citizens have no constitutional rights. They are the property of the District of Columbia. Here's a better way to understand it all. Your mother birthed you in the hospital. Most likely the hospital had her fill out a birth certificate by hand and ink. She signed her name on a paper and then handed the signature/contract over to the registrar. Then the registrar kept it and remains the holder of that document. The document in question constitutes the trust indenture. In a trust, there is always a grantor, a trustee, and a beneficiary, as well as the trust corpus, which is the property in question that is being held in trust for the beneficiary. Now, your mother is the grantor, the trustee is the county registrar, the beneficiary is you, and the trust corpus and or property in question is your physical body. So the registrar is in control of the deed of title, the trust indenture, and is therefore the custodian or the controller of the body, the trust corpus, which is supposedly held in trust temporarily, while the beneficiary is only a minor. Now, once they reach the age of majority, it is the beneficiary's responsibility to claim the property that is legally owed to them by the trustee who is meant to be keeping it safe. However, most people think that the name in all caps is them, since they must use this corporation or the name in all caps to engage in every single type of commerce. Meanwhile, the trustee is the controller of the property, which is legally classified as livestock, puts an agricultural lien on the property and uses the chattel paper / deed of title / certificated security / certificate of live birth as collateral for the ongoing renegotiation of the largest bankrupt entity in the history of the world. Excuse me. Now, there is a painless and jail-free route that one can take to regain the control that was taken from us at birth. And here we will provide all the information needed along with the step-by-step process of achieving sovereignty. Now, spiritual sovereignty goes hand in hand with going through the legal process. When you take the steps to become sovereign legally, you must also take the steps to become spiritually sovereign. This is the knowing that all is self. Everything we need is already inside of ourselves. It is important to know who you are, know your worth, and know your power, and be able to stand strong with an iron fist to protect your knowledge of self. These external forces against us use language and sigils so skillfully that we must know how to stay honest and true to ourselves to break through the barriers that they have placed on us. Now, we are here to assist you to obtain your certificate of live birth in order to get it authenticated at the state and federal levels, as well as give you the steps to transfer your straw man into a private trust where the security interest is perfected in your favor. Doing this would bring you out of the 14th Amendment, and you would be able to access the common law and Constitution, therefore your rights. Now, educational standards, understanding U.S. contracts, such as birth certificates and social security numbers. 2, the history. Now, be able to formulate a plan to implement the knowledge and tools provided in this information, the objectives, gain knowledge, as well as the steps to authenticating a birth certificate. Have access to important laws and definitions pertaining to the United States codes and statutes. Learn beneficial information on IRS and Social Security, United States codes, fictional persons, and straw man. Materials needed, certificate of live birth, which is considered as your long form, and a computer. Now, the verification. Are you ready to implement and utilize the given information? Are you committed to attaining legal as well as spiritual sovereignty? Do you understand the history and the trickery that has been used with language as well as the lies told to us all? Now, here we go. Authenticating your birth certificate. The birth certificate is the primary document used to enslave us all. Not only does it grant the state the right to take our children whenever they want, it is registered as a security. Registered as a security at the DTC, the Depository Trust Company, and used by the government for surety for public debt. In other words, they can tax the person named on that document into oblivion to pay back federal debt. Under the democracy, as long as we keep registering our children with the state, they have an endless supply of slaves to tax for fiscal sins. The details of this process are too involved to place here, but the point is that a major step to regain your freedom is to regain birth title as opposed to birth certificate of title. Now, what follows is a painless, jail-free, non-confrontational, lawful process to reclaim the status of holder in due course to the title to you, to yourself. Now, the laying the foundation, this is where we go first. The key to this process is Minnesota Rule 220. In all other states I have examined, including Oklahoma, the laws and the nature relating to the birth registration process is hidden. For the most part, all you can find is a blurb on some Department of Vital Statistics webpage to the effect that birth registration begins in 1917. If we find a roadmap in one state, it should and does apply to all. Now, the Register of Titles is authorized to receive for registration of memorials upon any outstanding certificate of title, an official birth certificate pertaining to a registered owner named in said certificate of title showing the date of birth in said registered owner, providing there is an attached to said birth certificate an affidavit of an affiant who states that he or she is familiar with the facts recited, stating that the party named in said birth certificate is the same party as one of the owners named in said certificate of title, and that thereafter the registrar of title shall treat said registered owner as having attained the age of majority at a date 18 years after the date of birth shown by the said certificate. Now, the birth certificate is a certificate of title, just like your car. You have the right to use the name, but the state has legal title and controlling interest in the property, which is the name. We learn to associate this name with our physical self from kindergarten on, never realizing we are just using a name that the state owns. Just like your car, you get to use it as long as you follow all the regulations and, of course, pay tribute to its registered owner. Also, Rule 220 implies that the state can treat you as a child, no matter how old you are, until you have gone to the registrar and told them via affidavit that you are over 18. Literally, you have to put them on notice just to let them know. It's like, other than that, they declare this account as an abandoned account, literally. Now, the state holds the title by mere presumption and the fact that you have never claimed it. Your mother gave it to them and you haven't gotten it back. So you can get your title back without a big confrontation at Vital Statistics. Looking at UCC 9-311A, UCC 9 deals with securities. We see that maybe there is a statute that could get us access to the original title without a confrontation. Now I'm going to go off into here. UCC 9-311, perfection of security interest in property subject to certain statutes, regulations, and treaties. Now, A, security interest subject to other law, except as otherwise provided in subsection D. The filing of a financing statement, a lien, is not necessary or effective to perfect a security interest in property subject to 1, a statute, regulation, or treaty of the United States whose requirements for a security interest obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor in respect to the property preempt sections 9310A, or 2, list any statute covering automobiles, trailers, mobile homes, boats, farm tractors, or the like, which provides for a security interest to be indicated on a certificate of title as a condition of the result of perfection in any non-uniform commercial central filing statute. Or 3, a statute of another jurisdiction which provides for a security interest to be indicated on a certificate of title as a condition or the result of security interest obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor with respect to the property. Now, you can always go back through this. I want to go ahead and break a lot of this down, but I don't have the time actually to break it all the way down because I got a lot of things to go through. So I'm just going through it right now so that you can get a real good look at what all of this is and what it means for you, because I want to also show you how spiritual sovereignty plays a major role inside of all of this. And that just means being able to gain control of your emotions and dealing with this, because the simple fact is the moment you decide in your mind that this is a war, you have already stepped into the wrong terrain. You've already left your spirit. You have already left oneness with yourself, because being oneness with yourself doesn't mean claiming anything or not claiming anything. It just means taking, and I'm gonna say this with a light tense, because the simple fact is, like I just said, words. We only have so many that we can use. You see what I mean? So, but taking titleship or sovereignty over your intellectual property, because whether you know it or not, that's what they have learned how to tax, the intellectual property, not the physical man. You see what I'm saying? So now let's get further into it. Now, 28 U.S. Code, subsection 1733, government records and papers, copies. Now, properly authenticated copies or transcripts of any books, records, papers, or documents of any department or agency of the United States shall be admitted into evidence equally with the originals thereof. Wow. So if we get our certificate of title properly authenticated, is it possible that it would be treated as equal to the original? Let's find out. First, a word on authentication and certifications. Authentication is used to verify the authenticity of the notary signature and thereby the authenticity of the document for all states that have not signed onto the Hague Convention Treaty. Certifications and apostilles do the same thing for countries that are signatories to the Hague Treaty. Court clerks may try to get you to settle for a certification instead of authentication. But remember, we need properly authenticated copies. There is no list of what states are not Hague signatories, but you can go to, it's a website right here to see. And I do know for a fact that Taiwan and Jamaica are actually not under the Hague Convention. Now, also you can see the Hague website to check out what states are not Hague signatories. Click on non-member contracting states on the left side menu. Click on the tiny map at the top of the page and download the map. The gray countries are the ones you are looking for. Find the one you like and verify it is not on either list of the countries in both the non-member contracting states and the ACCH member states lists. For example, Jamaica and Taiwan are not on either list. Pick one you like for your federal use on a DS-4 194 form and give it to the clerks who want to know the destination. Yeah, my stomach talking to me too. I ain't eating a while. I don't even remember the last time. All right, so here we go. The process now. You get a certified copy of your certificate of live birth, authenticated at each level of government, county if applicable, state and federal. Now, step one, get a certified copy of your certificate of live birth. Sometimes it's called a loan form. This is not the same as an uncertified regular birth certificate. Some states have them in the county where you were born. Other states like Oklahoma keep them at the state vital statistics office. You may go there in person or order them online from a company like Vital Check. I got the website right here. Now, step two. Next, get the certificates, the certified certificate of live birth authenticated at each level of government. If you get it from your county, then you want to get it authenticated at the county superior court clerk or whatever option they have at the county level. Next, the security of state handles authentications for that state. In Oklahoma, their office, not the security. Next, the Secretary of State handles authentications for that state. In Oklahoma, their office is on the first floor of the Capitol. Have them authenticate the certified certificate of live birth. They will attach a fancy copy on the front with a brass rivet. Number three, next, go to the Department of State Office of Authentications. Download form DS-4194 on the right-hand side and fill out with a non-Hague country of your choice. There may be cheaper ways, but I choose to prepay posters for a self-addressed return document mailer and enclosed. A money order completed for the DS-4194 and authenticated certified certificate of live birth up to the next size of document mailer and send that off to the address on their website. You would get back a properly authenticated certificate of live birth with a cover sheet like that. And United States Department of Boom. To all whom it may concern, shall come greetings. I'm showing you this, so I ain't gonna read this all the way off. I'm hoping that this, the screen working and y'all can actually see this. But this is what it'll look like. Now notice, the block of laws on the lower left corner of the document they send back includes 28 USC 1733. They are declaring this copy as equal to the original. You should look up the other laws referenced as well. Now, you can go to a registrar and attach an affidavit, something like this, to the duly authenticated certificate of live birth. Right here, affidavit of ownership. I'm not gonna read the affidavit of ownership of, but I hope y'all can see it. Now, the combination of a duly authenticated certificate of title and an attached claim is what is known as a counter deed from the perspective of trust law. You now hold in your hand a deed to you. From the perspective of commercial law, you hold a first in time, first in line document to you. In other words, you are now the real party in interest and holder in due course to the title to you. So what good is it? Correcting your status. Now, for starters, it is a very cool looking document and it gets your feet wet navigating through various levels of government. Far more importantly, in every court case, the issue of standing, status, case, and controversy must be satisfied to move forward. Now, part of why we have a nanny state in that under the legal, part of why we have a nanny state in that under the legal system they have set up, we are all seen as wards of the state. Our status as citizen principal is not respected, even if our house is paid off. We have a good job and money in the bank. The process is a major stepping stone in correcting the record of your status to citizenship principle, like before the 14th Amendment, as opposed to the citizen subject status of almost everyone walking around today. Now, y'all got to excuse me, man. I've been reading so much, right? Since all crimes have been converted from common law crimes to commercial crimes, 27 CFR 7211, this document makes you the first in time, first in line lien holder against your name. As you learn more of who you are in a legal and lawful sense, you will find this is a more powerful, powerful and useful document. Now, go through these legal definitions from Black's Law, first edition, as some preparation for reclaiming your title as you read through them, you may begin to see enormity of the crime perpetuated on the American people, right? And I just got a whole bunch of different definitions. So like a lot of words where you actually be able to get a real good understanding of when you start to see words that you associate yourself with, what they really legally mean. Like birth, the act of being born or wholly brought into separate existence. Delivery. And I'm just going to go down to some more now. Y'all see all of these. Now, here we also got understanding the Secret Custody Key Act of 1666. This is a nice long document. I read this off in my other video. You can go look on my page. I got something that's called the Custody Key of 1666. And it's just giving you a breakdown of, you know what I'm saying, where it started at in 1540, how it was actually upgraded. And 1666 by, you know, these kings up in here, man. I think it was Philip, if I ain't mistaken. Let me see. I forgot, man. I actually put all of this stuff together a while back. And I meant to propose it to everybody, man. But it's just that I've been reading and working on so much stuff. Now my brain is just overloaded. And some told me like, Jack, man, you got to get some of this stuff out of your mind. You got to get some of this stuff out of your catalog. And I'm like, well, what do I do with all of this stuff? Log it out. No, you give it to the people, right? So now, this is just a whole breakdown of what the Custody Key Act is, man. A whole breakdown of how all of the canon laws tie into, you know, the laws of admiralty or what we're being governed under, especially the Talmud. Now, this is a basic overview on how federal laws are published, organized, and cited, the 4 general types of federal law: constitutional law, statutory law, administrative law, and case law. The 4 traditional ways to publish federal laws: as part of other publications, as individual pamphlets, as part of a volume series, as part of an updated subject arrangement. And it just gives you a breakdown. Publications and legal citations for U.S. constitutional, administrative, and case laws. It's just going into all of it, man. It's like everything that you're going to actually need to get a better understanding of what's going on here, the United States codes, everything, all of the definitions, publication of proposed legislation, U.S. government printing office, the authority of statutes placed in section notes of the United States codes, give you all the different links that you can actually go to, case laws, many different uses of definitions of person in the U.S. code, right? The definition of the term person, U.S. code, Title 26, boom, U.S. 26 code, subsection 7343, definition of term person, corporation, or a member of employee of a partnership who has such employee or officer or member is under a duty to perform the act in respect of which the violation occurs. And this is how they do you, man. They place you up under these contracts. And I'm telling you that you don't understand it. Even if you're using zip codes, right? You're using USPS, United States Postal Service. Like, man, you literally up under their jurisdiction. You got to go back and study the United States Postal Service, the book on that shit, the manual, how they put that shit out and what it actually represents. So I'm just giving it all the way to you, man, because see, now the only reason I'm rushing through this is because, listen, man, all you got to do is reach out to me. The Energy Exchange 369 at gmail.com. And I actually be able to get you all this information, man. Just link up with me. Anything that you know that I'm not covering, man, look, just let's go. It's like, man, listen, let's help the people get free. Helping the people get free ain't getting them free by tying them into another circle that's ruled or governed by somebody else. Like, nah, bro, you get the people freedom by giving them their power back. You get the people their power back by letting the people literally control and have ownership of their own intellectual property. There's no value upon somebody else's intellectual property, and you have to respect it. Now, I'm just going through all of this, man. I'm just going through all of this. The term animal, human being, giving it to you, man. Corporation, partnership, and pardon, person, domestic, foreign, fiduciary. Now, the term fiduciary means a guardian, trustee, executor, administrator, receiver, conservative, or any person acting in any fiduciary capacity for any person. U.S. Code, Title 22, is just breaking it down. Human being, from Latin, humanus, a lesser and or inferior man, or human defined legally as an animal and or monster, as distinct from the ancient pre-Vatican Roman term homo, equal man. A key rule of law from the 14th century describing a fundamental legal fiction. This is the notion of an inferior man or woman as an animal, as defined by papal decree, and therefore not subject to the laws of free men, but the laws of property. The decision to create a second word for homo, man, denoting an inferior animal, man, was crucial to the legal implementation of the Vatican global slave trade from the 14th century to overcome the questions of legality and morality of the Vatican slave trade. Okay. Therefore, unbaptized indigenous populations were legally defined as humans. Therefore, animals. Legally, the name of a human must always be in capitals to identify the individual as property as distinct from a free man, person. From the 13th century Latin persona, the fictional legal character representing an individual. And I wanted to say something else. A lot of y'all, man, I advise a lot of people to get into something because, see, the 13th Amendment got scrapped and replaced by the 14th Amendment, which was actually never ratified. You see what I mean? It was never put into act. The 14th Amendment was just slid in. The 13th Amendment was actually rule of law. And you go up into the 13th Amendment, they show you about common law and all of this shit right here. But the 14th Amendment placed all fictions or U.S. created fictions under U.S. jurisdiction, which is the state District of Columbia. But the only how they extend their reach is through contracts. Now, human being or corporation by consent. Person is key rule of law describing a fundamental legal fiction. That is any individual or formal organization subject to the curia courts or lesser courts, providing consent is given without duress. Legally, an individual, a corporation, and even a nation may be considered a person and therefore subject to the principle of common law and commercial maritime law of the Vatican Roman Code. Legally, the name assigned to a person must always be in all caps to distinguish a person from a free man or a free society. Now, we got you up in here with the jurisdiction of the court, criminal, right? United States Title 50, Chapter 3, subsection 23. Any such proclamation has been made. The several courts of the United States having criminal jurisdiction and the several justices and judges of the courts of the United States are authorized, and it shall be their duty upon complaint against any alien enemy resident and at large within such jurisdiction or district to the danger of the public peace or safety and contrary to the tenor or intent of such proclamation or the regulations which the president may have established, to cause such alien to be duly apprehended and conveyed for such court, judge, or justice, yada, yada, yada. I'm just giving it all to you. Now, we got it up in here. I'm letting y'all see this because, see, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm just anxious to get to this next little segment real fast because it's a lot of information up in here, man. This is literally a title status correction package. Everything that you actually need to know to get you to the next stage. I mean, your UCC filing, your property list, certificate of title, proof of mailing. You see what I'm saying? How to actually, pull QSIPs. Just everything. Like everything that you actually need is like literally up in here, bro. And I'm giving this to y'all, man. I'm giving it to you because it's really important that you understand how everybody else is manipulating the consciousness and the frequency of the people, making people unconsciously dependent upon a fictitious system so that they can place a large body of people up under the jurisdiction of another secret society, other cults. Like, that's all everybody doing. Like, right now, it's just free reign. You see what I'm saying? But right here, right now, man, I'm giving you the opportunity, man. You can go up in here, get all of this information, or you can slide up on me, get up in my box. You see what I'm saying? And get with me, man. Got all your filing contents, right? Status of the register, if an individual nationality of a partnership name, resident address, and nationality of each partner in true, and complete copy of this article, co-partnership, if an association, corporation, organization. I'm just reading through it, man. Getting y'all through this, supplements filing period, just going through it all. Look what everything is in here, man. Everything you need, exemption by attorney general, electronic filing of registration statements and supplements, pro se, just giving you some more words, you know what I'm talking about? Now, the word person, just showing you where it comes from. You see what I mean? Giving you some more definition. And here I'm throwing in here the National Firearms Act of 1934 because a lot of people get charged with guns or handguns and stuff like that. And then they charge you up under the National Firearms Act or something like that, saying you got possession of a weapon by a firearm or possession of a firearm or possession of a weapon, and those are not considered as weapons. I bullshit you not. The Constitution literally affords you the right to own shotguns, rifles, handguns, and all of this. Here goes the National Firearms Act of 1934. Control legislation, the National Firearms Act, NFA, only cover two specific types of guns, machine guns and short barrel firearms, including sawed-off shotguns. It did not attempt to ban either weapon but merely to impose a tax on any transfers of such weapons. Despite legal limitations, it led to a precedent-setting U.S. Supreme Court decision. Now, in the 1930s, the United States faced a run of much publicized gangster violence led by such well-known criminals as John Dillinger, Al Capone, Babyface Nelson, and Bonnie and Clyde. The sensationalistic aspect of their crimes convinced the administration of President Franklin D. Roosevelt that something needed to be done to control the spread of weapons into the general population. U.S. Attorney General Homer Cummings and his staff began the process of drafting recommended legislation that would achieve this goal. And it's just giving you the whole breakdown on this stuff, man. I'm going through it real slow so that you can see it. What is a human being? I already broke that down for you. Foreign jurisdiction, foreign court, foreign corporation, foreign service of process, foreign states, and the National Revenue Code. And I'm just going through all of this, man. Now, listen, I'm showing you up in here too. IRS and Social Security employee withholding are voluntary within the 50 states. Literally, that is in big, bold letters on the front of the IRS manual, their handbook. It literally states IRS and Social Security employee withholding are voluntary. Seriously, you actually have to. Now, it's a process of how they trick you into signing up for it because they just present you with those forms, not telling you that these forms you don't have to fill out. You see, like you don't have to fill out a 1040. You can fill out a 1041. You don't have to fill out a W-4. You can fill out a Form 5 or something. You see what I'm saying? You can fill out a I-9 or a WABEN form. You see what I mean? So it's just giving you the whole breakdown on it too, man. Like I'm throwing all of this in there, man. Because this right here, bro, like this is not even, trust me, this is not even half of it that actually all the things that you can actually do. Like I said, we're showing you how to take the trust that was set up in your name, perfected in your interest, how you can actually not evade tax, but avoid tax, which is lawful. You see? So now, I actually want to go off into something else, man, because I'm just showing y'all all of this. I'm giving y'all this free, man. If you want to get a hold of this, a whole status correction package, just get with me. And that's how we doing this, okay? Now, something else that I want to show you. I want to make sure that we can see this. One second. Let me pull up something because I want to show y'all something, man. Let me go over here. I know it's moving slow now, man, because I got a Zoom running. I'm finna slide y'all into something, man. I want y'all to understand something. Because see, everybody know about the Queen. Everybody know about the Rothschilds. Everybody know about the Rockefellers. But do anybody know about the Baruch family? You see what I'm saying? Like literally, B-A-R-U-C-H. Now, they're not Ashkenazi Jews or Sephardi Jews. Literally. They descended from ancient Rome, right? The original Jewish family. The first Jewish family. This is dude right here, Fabrizio Massimo Brancasio, Prince of Arsoli and Trigenio. I don't know how I said. Okay, but let me take y'all to somewhere because I want y'all to see who this person is. How many of y'all know who the Holy See is? Or how many of y'all have ever heard of the Black nobility or the Committee of the 300? We finna go into something, just in case you haven't. Because see, this dude right here above all of them, brother. He's above the Rothschilds, just above them all. Now, the princely house of Massimo is historically one of the greatest aristocratic families in Rome, renowned for its influence in the politics, the church, and the artistic heritage of the city. Legendary origins. The Massimo family is sometimes referred to as one of the oldest noble families in Europe. According to the Augustine historian Onufrio Panvino, 1529 through 1568 in his work, De Gente Maxima, 1556. The family descends in a male line from the ancient gens Fabia or Maximia of Republican Rome and from Quintus Fabius Maximus. Now, when asked by Napoleon, with whom he was negotiating the Treaty of Tolentino, whether the family descended from Fabius Maximus, the then Prince Massimo famously replied, "Je ne sais." And hey, man, I'm not going to repeat all of that, though. But it just says, I cannot actually prove it. It's a rumor that only runs for 1,200 years in our family. The Massimo family is also said to have provided 2 popes to the Catholic Church, both saints. Pope Anastasius died in 401, who denounced the Origenus heresy to Pope. Okay, now let me just go down because, see, I just want to introduce you to who this dude is because I want to take y'all into something. Because first of all, let me show you something, man. Now, dude name is Don Fabrizio Massimo Brancaccio, right? Now, he the top owner of the Vatican, and he has high authority over the Sicilian mafia and the Corleone clan. Or how do you say it? Corleone. Literally. Let me go off in here. Let me show y'all something, though. Yeah, I got excuse me, my stomach. That's why I'm back on 300. I'm hungry, but I ain't finna eat. In short, the Olympians are military industrial complex and a banking cartel operating under Admiralty law. Membership of the UN must be made universal. The British Crown is one control point, inner city of London. Developing nations must be assisted, meaning assisted to destruct. Committee of 300 is found in a vast number of powerful institutions. The Mossad is able to pick agents among local Jews. The Mossad also knows the advantage of having access to the records of the U.S. law enforcement agencies and the U.S. intelligence services. Now, just going down in here, man, got a link right here. You can pull this up, man. The Committee of the 300, the Olympians. Pull them up. Pull them up. Now, because I'm finna go off into something else. Whatever happened in Cambodia was used to clean up New York, and today is set into the Patriot Act in the U.S. and the Contingency Act of the U.K. Let's go off into this other document real quick, man. All right. The Aldebrandini, Lucifer and his servant. Now, first of all, let's get into this real fast. I just got a few things I want to read to you out of here. Now, moving as we do to understand the present form of understanding of history, we soon find that history is a serious labyrinth indeed, and that many passages lead to danger and dead ends. It is a shame that no string was ever left to follow, not even a thread that's to be found in the labyrinth of life. It is my contention that Lucifer represents false text. As such, Lucifer is the doctrine for the building of the mystical body of Satan. The following body of information has to be understood in these terms. That the Holy See, you got to look up what is the Holy See. We're going into this. Is a distinct organization to the Vatican. The Holy See controls the Vatican, the Templar inner city of London, and Washington, D.C. And y'all look that up, the Templar inner city of London and Washington, D.C. It has recreated the platform in the East through the house breaker, the house break spear. The Holy See is a financial operation and has moved to relieve the people of the laws of the land and into its own jurisdiction, that of admiralty and maritime law. In 909 AD, the Carolingian warlords reversed the Benedictine doctrine on land ownership, from which was birthed the feudal system. They installed this yoke upon England and Jewish finance 1066 invasion, controlled by William the Bastard, who did allow the Jewish financiers unfettered rights to usury between the land of France and the lands of England. He gave full royal protection to the system of usury, both in England and in France. This gave command of the Roman canon, which is the land law, into the hands of the Jewish Holy See. Now, for over 1,000 years, the Holy See has undermined the Vatican canon and shifted all peoples of Rome into the hands of the seafarers of old in their legal system, which operates slavery by ignorant consent through contractual agreements, I promise. Now, the Bible, a book about the journey of a doctrine based around a favorite example of life on this earth called man, a creature that speaks words from, and I want to keep going. I don't want to get all the way off onto that part. That's just, somebody else's opinion on that part though. Now, the Committee of 300 is an example of this shadowy corporate energy from which many satellites we are aware of today do take their orders. The committee have its roots in the central banking cartel, supranational East India companies, along with the Virginia Company and the Road Round Table. Y'all need to look up who Cecil Rhodes is, and the Road Round Table, and get up into that too. Network centered into in the inner city of London. The Road Round Table, the Road Round Tables, was just an upgrade of the Commonwealth set up by Oliver Cromwell. Look him up, Oliver Cromwell. The entire script is the set move to undermine the original canon law system, a subversive move which would continue in the 20th century in secret as the League of Nations and the charitable foundations under direction of the House Rockefeller. Now, I'm going to show y'all something too about like the Rothschilds. Whether you know it or not, the Rothschilds just came from the word Red Cross. And we're going to get off into that too, because the Rothschilds, literally, their last name was Bauer. That was their name, Bauer. And you can look up Lord Amishad or Amishad Bauer or whatever. He the one that started the bank. But let me go down into this because there's some more interesting stuff in here now. Now, we have to go way back, but the Stanleys changed their name from Aldithely in about 1125. And y'all can look this stuff up, man. The Stanleys or Orsini. Now, apparently they took the name from the matrilineal line at the time, which is the Stonele. Other than that, I couldn't find much in the ancestry, which is well scrubbed. However, it is interesting to find that Thomas Stanley's daughter married Molyneux, whoever that is. Now, let me get down up into that was George Washington's family. Now we're going off into the House of Pallavicini, the Cromwell family, Scottish Rite Freemasonry. All right, it's just giving you a good old breakdown, man. Now, where we at? House Furnace. Now, it's going off into all of the families, man. I want to go off into the Medici family. Now, the origins of the House of Medici family are to be found buried in the depths of the Tucson countryside. In other words, in the Mugello, where the Castle Villa of Cafaggiolo can be identified as their cradle. However, the first historical traces of the family were in Florence, where Silvestro, the son of Messer Alamanno de' Medici, joined the common people in the well-known revolt of the Ciampi, 1378. Now, let me get down some more. Hold it. There's something out of here I wanted to just show you. Now, when the Medici returned, hold on. Oh, okay, so here go, dude. Let me show you something. I also want to give you something up here, man. This is a good one. It's like, let us not forget the current Dalai Lama fled Tibet in fear for his life and wept for the Tibet as his homeland, proving attachment. In doing so, he showed that he has not transcended fear, nor has he understood and thus transcended physical attachment. He is a fraud and a puppet of the United Nations. And man, I got a lot of documents that I actually want to go off into here and throw up in here, man, but I'm actually just have to make another one because it's a lot of stuff. But I'm just giving you a nice breakdown. I want you to check this out. Listen to this. Watch this. I don't know if this is going to play, man. Stick with me, man. I'm going down here, man. Now, Massimo. The Massimo family, head in the crime syndicate of the black nobility, stands the House of Massimo. Don Fabrizio Massimo Brancaccio is the top owner of the Vatican and has high authority over the Sicilian mafia and owns the Corleonesi clan. Hold on. They own a large fortress in Arsola and another castle in Campania. The Massimo family used lions on their coat of arms like Corleone. Sicily uses lions on its flag. The Massimo family frequently take the name Leon, which means lion. Brancaccio is a neighborhood in Sicily where Costa Nostra originated and named after the Brancaccio family that later merged with the Massimo family. Now you got to understand something. This nigga owns the Vatican, but he is also head of the Sicilian mafia and the Corleonesi clan. Now you got to understand too that who you think owned cocaine? The patent to cocaine, Warren Buffett. He literally owns the patent to it. So I'm just going to go a little bit further into here. I just want to get a little bit deeper. Now I'm going to read something else in here. Manly P. Hall, Masonic, Hermetic, and Rosicrucian symbolical philosophy. Yoga, a practice synonymous with Hindu philosophy, means to yoke. Its goal is to unite man with Brahman, the Hindu concept of God, or rather the consciousness called the God state. Hey, man, it's a lot of stuff in here, man. The black nobility or black aristocracy, Italian nobility, whatever, the Roman aristocratic family who sided with the papacy under Pope Pius the ninth. After the Savoy family led the Area Kingdom of Italy, entered Rome on September 20th, overthrew the Pope. Okay, let's just give you a good old breakdown of it, man. And down at the bottom of it, it gives you something else, man. It's called Satan, Prince of This World. It's a little book on here, man, but I want to go off into this. The Holy See, also called the See of Rome, refers to the jurisdiction of the Bishop of Rome, known as the Pope, which includes the Apostolic Episcopal See of the Diocese of Rome and the universal ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the worldwide Catholic Church, founded in the first century by St. Peter's and Paul by virtue of Petrine and papal primacy. According to the Catholic tradition, it is the focal point of full communion for Catholics around the world as a sovereign entity of international law representing papal jurisdiction. The Holy See is headquartered and operates from the exercises exclusive dominion over the independent Vatican State. And it just gives you a whole breakdown, man. Everything about them. Yeah, let's go off in here real fast. So if we are not in reality, unless we claim to be so, a legal person, then how would you best describe our relationship to it? If you have followed our exploration into British law, then it is this point you should be aware of the fact that title, trust, which mimics our given name or Christian name, gets an addition in the form of a name denoted in the uppercase that is an image of your family name. And if that is not bad enough, they also add Mr., Mrs., Ms., Master, Squire, like Esquire, Doctor, so and such, or some sort, which is entirely specific to what is called the legal person. It could also be understood as a value or the trust created once they added the surname, surety ledger. Now, this just goes all the way off into it too, man. You see what I mean? Now, I'm going to put these links in here, just giving you a good old breakdown. A secret society would be formed looking to counter past failures of policy and to capitalize on the expanding closure of distance between the colonies offered by steam, electricity, and telegraph to manage the Commonwealth from another nation, from a mother nation, not through might of the military, as had been the choice of the East India Company for a couple of centuries, but through the essence of organization principles, specifically economics, business, politics, international banking, and education, to form an international creed that would be more acceptable to the lower ranks over what had until then been the cry of spreading the civilized doctrine of the Bible to the world. It's just going in there showing you, man, the Committee of the 300, Cecil Rhodes and Knights Templars, corporate authority, all of this shit, man. Get into this. Seriously. If you're looking forward to it, you want to get deep into it, man, let me know. I got you. Get with me. The Energy Exchange, 369@gmail.com. I do ask, man, if you made it this far, man, please like, share the video so that we can spread the love and spread the wealth. This is riches right here, you know? So, like I said, man, I just wanted to bring y'all up in here, man, so that I can give y'all a better understanding of what's taking place with us right now. Because whether you know it or not, man, everybody ain't really trying to help you get free. Now, I'm not saying everybody trying to bind you to the system or none of this. We're not going to turn this into none of that, because you know what? A lot of people doing whatever they can. A lot of people doing the best they can. A lot of people doing what they want to do. But the only thing that I need y'all to understand is that, man, listen, right now, man, you're being governed by a system that functions and operates under admiralty law, commerce, and they use a language. And that Babylonian language, right, under the Talmud, canon law, this composition of admiralty jurisdiction, like these things are very important to us. And it doesn't have anything to do with renouncing something to pick up something else. You don't actually have to do any of that. You don't actually have to associate yourself with some other large corporate entity or body of politics in order to be free from another one. No. All you actually have to do is know you. Know how to get yourself up out of the system. Know how this system works with you through contracts. And then understand the people that's around you that's preying on your intelligence or the lack of it thereof. Because sovereignty must go both ways. And I'm finna show you something. What if you get mad one day that you got pulled over and you got a ticket for speeding? In any event, if you're getting a ticket for speeding, they take your driver's license and you get pissed off and you decide, well, you know what? Forget this. I'm going sovereign. I'm not going to court. I'm not going back to get them license. I'm not registering my car no more. It's on. Now, even though you have your mind in the right direction, your attitude is tainted. And that's what's going to taint the intent and the succession rate of what you're executing. Because if you're doing this out of anger and not out of confirmation, not out of surety, then you're going to cause a lot more problems for yourself. You have to understand that you are the designer and builder of your own reality. And if you're not designing it and building it, somebody else is. Now, most people inside, and I'm going to say this now, all of the secret societies, all of the secret cults and all of this stuff, what they use is mysticism and magic. Black and white magic is all the same shit, man. I promise you. None of it is real. It's not real stuff. Now, I know a lot of people ain't going to like to hear me say that, because you got a lot of people that's already done bought into the propaganda. A lot of people are already trying to make a large profit off of the propaganda, because that's just how you do it. Like, whether you know it or not, secret societies have mastered their way into the reality by selling mysticism and magic. You see, selling man this opportunity of enjoining them with one or the eternal God or the primordial figure or source of consciousness through magic, and making man believe that through these magical ceremonies that he or she had the ability to invoke entities and spirits and demonic form. Man, listen to me. You have to learn to decipher these stories. You see, because even secret societies have a language. You see, But I don't want to get all the way off into that because I'm just showing you that, man, everybody ain't really who you think they are. Some people got the wrong people backing them, and that can cause them to, you know, taint the direction of their message. And we see that, man. It's always been happening in our community. You know, for a little bit of money, our people will sell our people out just to get some cash and get to safety with it. And I'm not dissing nobody, man. I mean, you know, each one teach one, each one reach one. The only thing I'm saying is right now, man, it's actually just time to take control of your own being, not depending on somebody else to actually provide that for you. I put all of this information together as far as being able to go into this package right here, man. Let me show you. As far as this package right here, I put all of this information together for y'all because I wanted to actually help everybody get free, not selling you the idea of freedom under the, you know, certain circumstances. Like, that's not what I'm really trying to do to you. You see what I mean? Like, I'm really trying to give this to you so that you can actually see how important it is, because a lot of people have invaded people's reality with scripted and misleading information. And when a lot of people don't know no better, man, when you put all that information together, it all sounds like it fit and it all sounds like it sends you in a correct direction. But in reality, it's all just mystery and magic interwoven with reality. But all of it can be challenged. Like, man, I'm telling you, you just don't understand. You can challenge everything that people say. You can challenge it all and show a person that, man, all that stuff, you just lying. You making this shit up. You see? But it's not even my job to do that. People get fooled when they want to be led. When you desire to be led, lead yourself. So then what I wanted to show you is, man, I actually went through it, man, and I'm not going to even go any further. I just want to say thank you to everybody that actually tuned in with me, man, and everybody that's taking willful responsibility of this information. Because whether you know it or not, man, ain't nobody going to ever be able to free you. No matter where you go, all you doing is running from yourself and from a system that has its hand on your back everywhere you go, because you don't even understand how you got tied into it in the first place. And they left the back door open for you. I don't care where you run to. I don't care where you try to duck off and hide, or I don't care. You're still being governed by that system until you literally unweave your web from under it. Literally. So, and this is what I was saying, people with insurance and all of that type of stuff, man, listen to me. Yes, you're not sovereign. So, you know, and I'm not trying to throw that at nobody. I'm just saying, like, you know, nobody in particular or individual. I know a lot of people be like, oh my God, who is he talking about? Hey, everybody. I'm talking to every one of you niggas, man. Or, you know, every one of y'all that's out here playing, perpetrating the fraud. Like, man, get sovereign. You see what I'm saying? If you ask me, no, I'm not all the way sovereign. I know every step that I need to take. And those are the steps I'm executing. But I'm already very far into the game that I can give you all of the tips, keys, and clues that I took. So you can get to that step too, so that you will understand how important it is, man. So with that being said, man, I don't want to keep y'all no longer, man. I do love y'all, man. And I just want to give y'all this information so that y'all can free yourself. Own this.